Hey, welcome to Idle Over Hands. I'm Lyle.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jeremy.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about Chris's campaign
Yay!
that he ran. It was a D&D 5e campaign, so Campaign Confessions. So first up, we'll be talking about just 5e, and then later on, we'll be talking in another episode. We'll be talking about the actual campaign, which was Pirates.
Yes.
So it's how to successfully run a Pirates campaign.
Successfully, question mark.
Yeah, or was it successful? Or was it how unsuccessfully?
Stay tuned.
Yeah. And we're just fresh off Japanese Dominoes. Oh,
So if any of us have to run into the back, please excuse us.
which has been in Jerry's apparently. Yeah. And we just found out today because who orders any of these sides in Domino's? Actually, I know people that do order the salads. People at work.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I'm like. And we're talking about like controlling costs, and I'm like, and stop ordering the salad at Domino's. Like, who orders a salad at Domino's?
$5 for a salad.
Yeah.
That's
Well, actually, that would be $4 if you do the conversion.
And it probably comes in a plastic bag.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be like $5 plus Australian dollars for our Australian viewers. But they have
dollars.
dollars. That didn't sound Australian at all.
It's as good as your Boston accent. Hi, I'm from Boston.
It wasn't trying to do a Boston accent. And the reason why, because we're looking at here, they have curry bread. So, the dipping sauces, and I guess back home it would be ranch or barbecue. Here, the dipping sauce is curry or corn potage, which is huge in Japan.
Yeah.
You get it out of vending machines.
Corn potage chips, corn potage everything. Yeah.
Oh, that's, yeah. Clam chowder. Of course, you definitely want to go to Domino's to get your clam chowder.
Oh yeah.
Is the clams fresh? It's like, minestrone bread. It's not even trying, really. It's just like, well, we have a soup.
Well, it's like I said. I can imagine all of them being delicious, but not being from Domino's and being delicious.
Yeah, and a black chili bread, which actually sounds all right. Oh.
Yeah. Japanese pizza is weird, but good. I always have tuna corn pizza when I order at home.
Yeah, because we don't let him order it here because we
It's delicious. It really is.
we figured out he was doing it just so he could eat it all to himself. So it's like, I guess we'll all the five of us
Do
will
you guys
split
want
this
tuna corn
pepperoni.
pizza? Rats.
Yeah. So we're not really going to give a super fresh take on D&D 5e because it's been
It's
around
not
for a
fresh,
while.
yeah.
It's not so fresh. So we'll give a stale take. So we thought we'd look at. Jeremy was talking prior to the cast about how successful financially
Yes.
5e is.
Yeah, Hasbro is saying, they said this last year, and now they're saying it again because their stock just jumped again, but this is the best year they've had, and they can thank both D&D and Magic for that. They're crediting both of those. And
traditionally, like D&D was kind of the poor cousin.
Yes.
Like Magic was
Right.
really providing all of the Wizards of the Coast money.
Right. And other than the crossover, there's the Ravenica.
Which is actually a really
setting
good block. Yeah, I think it's called a block.
Yeah.
So there's blocks, and then inside the blocks there's sets or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, of course, they've got the competitive, the tournament scene for Magic, and now they wonder what they can do, like how far they can push D&D. They know it's not competitive, but,
They want it to be.
yes, if it could be an esport, they would be so happy.
Oh, you could do that, like the Tomb of Horrors style, like which party can get through the dungeon more successfully or quicker, or
I've seen things like that. Whoever can get the most treasure or have kill counts or speed or things.
Well, do you remember back in the day the old modules, and they would be tournaments? They would. I didn't really understand as a kid like what really that meant, but it was like, at this convention or Gen Con or something I've never heard of, and at the back, and we ran it for this tournament, or like this is the tournament module. So I guess it could be bringing it back to its roots.
Right. They said, interestingly, that they credited a lot of D&D's appearance in Stranger Things as kind of the catalyst for popularizing it and kind of getting in front of people. And I do remember back at the scene in E.T. where the older brothers playing that, that gave popular awareness to role-playing. And I remember there was a bump, at that time
absolutely,
as well.
That was the other. Well, that was the golden era. It was quite short. It ended in the early 80s. But it was like part of pop culture.
It crashed when the whole religion thing happened.
Yes. Yeah, the Jack chick.
Remember Cloak and Dagger? You ever watch Cloak and Dagger, the movie?
Oh yes, I remember that.
It
Dabney Coleman, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Dabney Coleman, and is the kid the same? Henry Thomas?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be, but
yeah.
it's not just the scene in a movie, but it's actually built around. Dabney Coleman is his. I guess it would be like top secret character, like his secret agent character, come to life. So it was okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it as a kid. Yeah. So we thought instead of just going, people familiar with our old campaign confessions, what we do is the first part we talk about the system, what we liked, what we didn't like about it. But we thought instead of that, obviously a lot of people do like D&D 5e, so we're certainly not going to change anybody's mind. The holding out. What do the Alred hands have to say on this? I'll keep playing 4e until they weigh in. We thought we'd discuss whether or not the success of 5e is due to the changes in the system, or is the success more related to marketing or social media. So what do you guys think? Why is D&D 5e so successful?
Little column A, little column B.
Thanks. That's a
Yeah, but I think
raging debate there.
Yeah, right.
but definitely its presence on the internet is like nothing they've seen before. As like there's a hipness to it that it didn't really have before. It was kind of geek wasn't chic, and now geek.
Now it is.
Yeah, now it is, and role playing is part of that, and and so some very straight, very square people, normies, want to try this because what is this? What's the weirdest thing I can do in the geek world? Oh, role playing.
Yeah.
That would be it.
Yeah.
No,
it's
the
one way
weirdest
to
thing
really
is
up
getting
your geek
dice
cred.
tattooed on your arm. Like, how tragic is that? Like, did the Celtic bands teach us nothing?
Yeah, that. Yeah,
Or the tramp
terrible.
stamps? Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely has a purpose. I'm gonna argue.
I want to get a D20 tattoo, but it just has like a 6, just a random number, not the 1 or the 20.
Oh, okay, Mr. Edge Lord here.
Exactly.
I've always been a contrarian. No,
Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
everything's coming up 6s. I'm gonna say it is the social media or the marketing strategy, and I think we can trace that to Critical Role. Not only Critical Role. I know there's like the Gray Force. I think they're called Hunter Force, Gray Force. Yeah. And also like the Chris Perkins group
Yeah.
that he does, which I think, as far as like the online presence, predates Critical Role, but the Critical Role certainly exploded.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They actually started with 4E and then went to Pathfinder.
Yep.
But then when they decided, hey, let's get cameras in front of us, let's get 5E.
Wow. I wonder if there was any money or anything involved in that choice. If Hasbro was like, we would really.
I wonder.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I mean, it was offered, they probably, when they're looking around, it's like, okay, they're coming up with a new system. Pathfinder is backed by Paizo, which is a smallish company. D&D is backed by Hasbro, which spends like $1 million a script.
Right.
I don't think there was any kickback, because I remember when they switched into 5e, when they started the really big campaign that really took off. And I think up to that point, it had just been like in the guy's living room.
Yeah,
And, so I think that was their first real kick-in, but I don't think there was any actual communication with the gaming companies at that point.
So when did Hasbro acquire D&D? Like it was Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast
and then
acquired D&D first from TSR.
Yes.
And that was late 90s, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the specifics. And then Hasbro purchased Wizards of the Coast. Or maybe that was late 90s. And
so it's been 4E was a Hasbro product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I think 3E was a Hasbro product as well.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
So 2E was still TSR, and then maybe
feel
maybe
like-
Wizards of the Coast. 3E is Wizards of the Coast. Maybe Hasbro brought it during the 3rd edition.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think they were bought after 3 came out, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Not important, real.
Yeah. But it would make sense though that the changes and things in 4E was a larger kind of toy kids company saying, hey, you know what's popular? That World of Warcraft. Let's make this game more like that.
No, absolutely, and,
Yeah.
and to make it more accessible and
Right.
and familiar things like you have the brick or
Yep.
the defender, the kind of the warlord, the guy that buffs things, and just kind of the language. Yeah. One of the reasons why I think the rise of not the rise of the success of 5e can at least correlates with or at least owes a lot to these videos or these streaming groups is that a couple things is people look at it and they see it, how fun it can be, and I mean the professional voice actors, these Critical Role, and then they actually got actors like from True Blood and that for some of the other ones. So they see people doing a good job at role playing.
Right.
Yeah. And they also see the game master or the dungeon master, what was it, Matt Mercer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Matt Merles. Matt Mercer?
Mercer is Critical Role, and
Merles is the developer.
Yes. Mark Merles.
Yeah, and Chris Perkins is Acquisitions Inc. Yeah.
Let's ignore that whole part right there.
Who's the marketing manager?
I think that would be
drop that name as
Dave
well.
Something.
Yeah. But then they also see, and that's something, one thing when you look at the role-playing games have traditionally been based on books. So you're reading it, and you're reading a rule book trying to
blocking you. You disappeared.
Trying to tell you how to successfully run a game. Whereas with these series, you're watching a dungeon master successfully run a game. So they're like tutorials, if you will. Right. And like people can aspire to that or pick up tips or they can understand the game, because who really wants to read a rule book?
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
So they watch that and they think, I can do that. And then they buy the book, the bare minimums, because they want to play that character that was on Critical Role or something like that. And they don't have to read the rest of the book.
Well, I think a lot of it is showing what the game is like, because it's fun to play. But I think you're right. The book barrier is big. It's not fun to read a 400-page book of rules.
Right.
But if you watch it, you just see people laughing for it, and it helps that a lot of these are famous people. Like some actors and actresses, attractive people are playing this game and having a great time.
Right.
But, what's his name? Joe Manangelo?
Oh yeah, he's attractive.
He's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got me off track thinking of Joe Manangelo. Anyway, yeah. People who are having fun playing the game, and I think that's something that really changed the image of the game. There's a lot of times it was the impression of these skinny pimply guys sitting snorting over a book.
Well, when they do show shots of people like, hey, here's my gaming group, playing. You don't see many buff people. Yeah.
Not Adonises like us.
Yeah.
And I think in a minor way too, something that might be influencing the popularity is there are a lot of people that are studying improv now. And if you're not part of a group, if you're not one of the if you're not in Second City, where are you going to practice those improv skills? But role playing, I think, especially West Coast, everybody that's taking UCB classes, like, hey, my D&D group is really going to be a good chance for me to dwarf it up.
It actually sounds like it would be.
Yes, and.
But well, here's a question: do you think, having, I guess, watching like attractive people play the game, or watching it become more socially accepted, do you think that, do you think a social stigma was a barrier to people playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then the Satanic Scare.
Yeah.
Mazes and Monsters and Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I'm sure kids born in the 90s were really worried about that.
It was on VHS.
Oh, look what I found.
So 90s.
Tom Hanks, is that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people just weren't interested because it seemed like something that was nerdy and boring. And
Yeah, I think that was definitely part of it. Nobody that went out for the football team was, looking for a group to game with. Back in the day.
Okay. All right.
Were there many football players in your games?
I didn't go to any schools with football teams.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but no.
Well, that would
No. So there was no basketball players in our gaming groups. Yeah. I don't know. Because I think geek culture is more socially accepted, or it's actually. I mean, it's not even. Could you even call it geek culture anymore? It's just like people play video games. It used to be a time where you played video games until you became an adult, and then you stopped, and now
it's the biggest entertainment industry.
Yeah, and people keep playing video games and well into their adulthood and talking about it. So
Some people make their careers out of them.
oh, making video games. Oh,
Yes.
okay, yeah. I thought you were like talking about being a professional gamer. Yeah, maybe it's just. I mean, comics. Not many people read comics. I mean, sales are dwindling, but comic book movies are big business.
Yeah.
Right.
So people are familiar with that. So Dungeons and Dragons could also be rising with that overall tide.
Yeah, it I don't know. I wonder how much of it is that now I'm just an adult, so nobody cares anymore. But I can remember back in the day when, if you would say I play D&D, you'd kind of get people going, "Oh, that's great," kind of backing away a little bit.
Well, yeah, I'm old enough to remember when you said I play role-playing games, and people go, "You mean Dungeons and Dragons?"
Yeah.
And I wonder if people do that now, because if the awareness has expanded beyond Dungeons and Dragons, where people say, "Oh, okay, I kind of get, like, there's also like a game about vampires or superheroes or."
It's skewed because we're here in Japan, so there's a rather select group of people who came over here. But yeah, I think almost, I'd say 80-90% of the people say, "Oh yeah, I tried that once," and that's about it. It seems like something that a lot of people have tried before, but it never really got mainstream until recently. I wouldn't go as far as to say mainstream, but on the way.
Yeah, and I can see why people would try it once. I remember, like, in university, like, at a party, and somebody busted out, and it was like not like a D&D party. It was just like a regular party, and somebody broke out D&D, tried to play a game, and I had played the game before, right? And we spent like the entire time making characters.
Yep.
And if you're just like, what, is this all there is to the game? And just like making characters and that. So I guess you could just, people maybe who would watch like YouTube or something like that could then go, oh no, there's like more to the game. Once you get through this, marathon, then
making
it's
characters is a lot of fun.
I used to think so, but
I
I
still
don't
do.
have time. I don't have time to make characters. Yeah.
That's actually a big
And-
part of it.
And I think, hey, let's get back to actually.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh, hey, well, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, I think that's a big part is time. Like we were talking about how people, it's something that I tried once and did again. It's hard to be an adult and game at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you weren't going to say what I was going to say. So I think that's a success of 5e, is that it's quicker to make characters. And I, before I had kids and that, I loved 3.5 or third edition 3.5. I loved the feat trees, and then really sitting there and planning it out and that. But now I can appreciate de-emphasizing the feats like 5e has done, and it's just easier to make it. It's quicker to make a character.
Yeah.
And we're also playing Pathfinder, and I actually the Pathfinder second edition didn't take a long time. I think more Starfinder.
Oh, it took ages.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a chore to make that character. Even though I had a pretty decent concept, there was just too many steps to make it.
Yeah. I had a computer program to help. Even with that, it took a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going to, did I make a mistake? Is the math, is the math working in that?
Yeah.
So yeah, 5e is the math's a lot simpler. Also like Pathfinder 2e, kind of jettison like your skill points and stuff like that. You're just ticking off. I know this skill.
Yeah.
And this gives me that. The advantage and disadvantage in 5e, I think, is just kind of simpler. It's like,
I love that.
It's not how many points or how many pluses or minuses. It's just you get, you roll the two dice. You're either choosing the highest or you're choosing the lowest. So yeah, making it simpler for people. Yeah.
Right. And also you talked about time, being able to get a group together. And recently I think people have been, getting past that or being able to avoid that by playing online.
I was gonna say
over
as
the
well.
internet. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of tools now that didn't exist before, and a lot of ways that
they're also providing, like, you can buy the books on those through like Roll20, and I forget the other one. Yeah,
Hero.
That's good.
Something. Yeah.
And also the like.
Sorry, I'm being completely unhelpful. Sorry.
And also the videos, watching Critical Role and things like that, they provide a nice, maybe not bridge, but a nice substitute to playing the game. And I think people need that in order to keep buying the books. I mean, if I'm not playing a game, I have a lot less incentive to buy a book, or a lot less desire to add to my collection. But I think, you know, maybe when you're watching Critical Role and you're seeing people having fun playing this particular adventure, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll go buy, you know, that adventure or buy that book, because I almost feel like I'm playing it. And yeah, it provides that, so it gives them, even though I have no friends, and I sit at home alone and just read the books, you know.
I feel like I have friends.
Once a week I can, you know, spend 4 hours and I got the books with me. I don't know. So I do think that encourages people to buy stuff. So. Well, look at, yeah, and like people buy like that Matt Colville.
Yep.
Like everybody bought his, not everybody, but his Kickstarter was very successful.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So.
But it sounded like a very cool, very useful system as well.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You didn't think so?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all. But it sounded like something like, hey, what do you do with your money? You know, building strongholds and stuff. So, but there you go. It's the people that have no friends and sit at home. And it's like, well, I'll give myself $1 million in my little stronghold. You know?
A stronghold of one.
It's a pillow for it.
Yeah. But more power to them. That's great. Yeah.
Just not as the people who purchase this product.
Just
They're little strongholds.
You're all losers.
We're the cool D&D players here.
Yeah, we actually have like flesh and blood people. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Like the technology is a huge part of it. I play with friends in a different country on almost weekly basis. So,
Right.
yeah, it just wouldn't have been possible in years past.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, another thing that the internet kind of aids in is the kind of the maker community and people doing like Etsy shops and stuff. You can probably buy infinite amounts of, you know, custom dice and dice towers and things.
True.
Yeah.
So there's so much that you can actually, you know, other places you can spend money for your role-playing habit that would go outside of the, you know, the books.
And barrier to publishing any kind of book is minimal now. There's almost nothing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they got the Wizards Guild. I think that's what it's called. Is it or is it Dungeon Masters Guild? Something guild.
It's a guild. There's a guild. They have.
Oh no, but you publish adventures
Oh,
on
okay.
there.
I
Yeah.
was referring even simpler, just like publishing PDFs like Matt Colville did. Yeah, just making your own system and throwing it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I actually did some research into just like the history of role playing games and that, and I'm trying to talk about like the success of it. And yeah, one of it is the ability to create, and people scratching that itch. I think I've lost that desire just 'cause I have no time
Yeah.
to create. But yeah,
Yeah, give it a few years when the kids get older.
yeah.
And our wives completely ignore us.
Not the good life, you know, the golden years. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to retire. I'm going to play video games and Skype role playing all day long.
Yeah,
Yeah, bring it on.
living the dream. Yeah.
That is it right there.
All right. But what about? Do you guys have any specific comments about like the changes they made? Like, I mean, Chris, you said that it's a little from column A, a little from column B. What would, if we say column A is the system? What's attractive about the new 5e system?
Okay, well, I suppose you outlined it well, that it's a simple system. But when I say little column A, little column B, it's because, I mean, obviously if it weren't a good game, it wouldn't be popular. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But I guess the question is like, is it really that different from 3.5 or like 3?
It depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, if it's still a D20 based system, so in kind of the whole world of gaming, no, it's still pretty similar. But they made a lot of tweaks that really cleaned it up and made it simpler and easier to run. It was already mentioned, but the advantage disadvantage system is fantastic. It clears away lots of tables and modifiers that you have to remember and puts it into one simple system.
Yeah, and I think all of the simplifications that they made benefit mostly new players, like people that are new to this that may have been a little intimidated or I don't want anything too mathy, and this was like, well, that wasn't so hard, that wasn't so painful.
Yeah, the basic system there, and that's actually a feature of 5e's, that it has a basic system and then it has modules that you can tack on. So if you want to do a more tactical game, this is the tactical module, and all different kinds of add-ons to it. But the core game itself is just a pretty basic rule set for that kind of thing.
Oh, and that they did release that too, just the rules as a PDF for free when they were early days of 5e.
That's right.
Yeah, here it is for free. You can play this, and yeah, here's here's what you need to do, which is, that's kind of a new approach for them, and maybe kind of, imitating smaller publishers, what they had done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they did the playtest with lots of surveys, even the covers, like which cover did you like the most, like from first, second, third.
I think it kind of ties back into the social part of it, is they did a lot of fan outreach
for
it as well. But I think that was almost a necessity, because there was such a negative fan reaction, deserve it or not, to 4E, that I think they really needed people to buy into the new system coming out before it got too much negative press.
Right.
Because nerd rage and all that.
What about the way they roll out the materials? So they don't roll out too much, and I think we talked about it way back when would be the best way to do because 3.5 was very much splat books, adding to the rules set, whereas when you looked at first edition, it was adding adventures, and second edition was adding settings. So here they've opted to focus more on the adventure aspect. So they roll out a deluxe adventure and some things around it, such as miniatures and stuff like that. And they certainly realize that people are willing to spend for the extra stuff, like dice towers and miniatures and stuff like that.
It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of the voices that I was listening to then versus now, but I feel like there was a pretty strong negative reaction to the miniatures in 4E. 4E was designed to be played on a tabletop on a grid with miniatures, and they released along with it their miniature system. I think it was just another trying to find a new revenue stream for them. But I remember a lot of hate online at the time about that. But now it's not required to use it. You can if you want to. It's one of those tack-on modules. But there seems to be clamoring for those miniatures.
And maybe because they'll roll out like the adventure and the supporting miniatures. So the miniatures aren't supporting a miniatures game. And again, I think at the time they were trying to have like a miniature style game.
They branched into a miniatures, a tactical only one. They did board games as well.
Yeah, and they did the board games, and then also in 3.5 they did like Chainmail, tried to revive that.
Yep.
And here it's very much the adventure first, and all of these are designed. Here are the monsters for the adventure. So I guess people feel I'm not playing a miniatures game. I'm supporting the theater of the mind in a way, but
with my miniatures.
Well, people like really go all out, like posting pictures of like, hey, this is this particular scene in Out of the Abyss or whatever, and you're like, wow, that's
some
a lot
of
of
the
work.
Tables you see posted up on Reddit, it's incredible stuff. Build these full dungeons. I suppose they have Forge World? Is that the ones that make the terrain?
Dwarven Forge.
Dwarven Forge.
Dwarven Forge, yeah. Forge Worlds is
the 40K miniatures. Yeah,
right.
But the Dwarven Forge, some of those, that's the people running LED lights inside of them. It's incredible.
Oh, people who don't live in Japan and have basements in space.
Right.
The good life, yeah. So I guess your retirement, you would have to then move back to...
I'm just going to use my mom's bomb shelter.
Oh, that's nice. So how about you, Jeremy? Would you lean... kind of the wishy-washy column A, column B, or a particular lean towards?
No, I don't think a lot of people that are making it popular now, or the people that are kind of pushing it over into hipness and popularity, have much experience with previous systems. So I don't think the simplification and kind of the economy of the 5e rule set has as much to do with the popularity as the exposure, the online presence, and all of the stuff now related to to role playing. I think it's much more the existence of it online, and really, like you were saying, when they were developing 5e, they talked to the fans and did a lot of play testing and things, and they had the internet to have that instant kind of communication and feedback for that they may have not taken advantage of before, because I don't ever remember with earlier editions even the website for Dungeons and Dragons being all that good. A little clunky, and so it seems like they've taken the maximum advantage of the digital technology, and now they do have social media and things to just keep it keep those hashtags in people's
Yeah,
presence. Yeah.
they tried that a lot with 4E because remember they released those Dungeon Master tools and the Character Maker
Right,
tools and
right.
stuff, but it all ran off of Microsoft Silverlight, the Microsoft
Yes.
version of Flash.
Right.
It was so slow and crap.
I remember.
Good on them for trying, but man, it was not a good
I
try.
think the woman in charge of that died trying to derail things.
Okay.
True story.
Because of the choice of platform, because of the
No, she didn't kill herself. She had an accident or something like that.
Oh, man.
But I think that
I use Silverlight.
wow, so cool.
Wow.
So maybe I think that kind of hindered stuff.
Oh, okay.
And also, yeah, I think they've been really. I mean, they're still not really crazy about PDFs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did release PDFs of previous editions. But yeah, they're very shy about that. I think they're the last real holdout for.
Right. And newer stuff it's kind of in other software or kind of DRM heavy. With the way they're doing digital things now.
Well, I think you like, for example, if you buy something on Roll20, it's like on your Roll20 account.
Yeah.
It's like buying a comic book on Comixology. It's all in the library, so it's a lot more difficult to share. Well, some companies like Valiant allow you to download it or back it up onto your computer, which is why I only buy it at Valiant digitally. But yeah, they do that, and even Games Workshop is flipped over, like
Yes.
allowing you to have digital copies of stuff.
Right.
So yeah, they might be the last holdout. Yeah.
And that's funny because they have, so much supporting and so many things, miniatures and things that they're licensing and that they can sell to support the game. So the books really aren't the only thing they're selling. That's not the key to everything because they did give away the very stripped down basic rules for free at the beginning. So it was almost like, oh, they're getting it, they're understanding.
Yeah. So, are you happy with D&D 5e?
Very.
Yeah, I think it was very enjoyable. Especially the pirates.
Yeah. I didn't hate 4E as much as the online community did, but I wasn't the biggest fan of it. So I was more into Pathfinder that day. But I think between Pathfinder and the 5e edition, I'd probably choose 5e.
Okay, yeah, I probably would too. I mean, it's a bit easier to play, better. It's kept some of the good stuff or the good changes, such as the multi-class system from third edition. Some things from 4e, some things from it's had since the beginning. Yeah, so definitely, I would say it's better than Pathfinder, even the 2e, the second edition, from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, hard to judge because it's still in the playtest phase, but I'm feeling the same thing right now.
Yeah. As far as running the game, I still think games like 13th Age are a lot easier to run because they really strip down the monsters and where it's a very, very simple stat line.
Yes.
And it's also, I think, better written and easier, more accessible. So, but here now with Dungeons and Dragons having all that social media and online support and tutorials and that maybe people don't need once they actually get around to buying the book, they don't need things explained a certain way. But a game like 13th Age, if you read that is written for, I mean, also experienced players, but definitely written for beginners and very much aware that they don't want people to make a mistake or be very aware of the choices that are in front of you and explaining them like this is good if you want to play this style, but if you're a new player, maybe don't play this one because you're going to have a lot of these choices in combat and they might not be obvious to you. Yeah. So
I remember we had a discussion a long time ago when I think when we were reviewing 4E and we were talking about how Paizo had really picked up a lot of D&D's market, and we were considering whether or not D&D was still the flagship of role-playing. But do you think that they've regained the title with 5e?
Oh, definitely, yeah. But they regained it by embracing the online marketing and what the online community can do for them.
Right.
So,
and I think they've always had the advantage of, like Kleenex or Xerox of
True,
that's
true.
the first name you think of. Oh, roleplay. Oh, Dungeons and Dragons.
branding, yeah.
Yeah, their branding was so strong that I think because that's what happened. So many new people coming into it. It's like I want to try role playing. Oh, so where's the Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, for a lot of people, like the word role playing is less known than Dungeons and Dragons for role playing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've made a lot of smart choices, like the Critical Role people. I think what they do is canon or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're
I hadn't heard
incorporating
that.
it. Yeah, I think it's a new thing.
Huh.
So the choices they're making is like
Interesting.
yeah. I've never actually watched them. It's like 4 hours, and I'm like, wow, that's that's like 4 TV shows.
Yeah, it's a really good work thing to plug in your earbuds because
Oh,
you don't need the visual for it.
Yeah, I'm antisocial enough at work, and I try not to and then I listen to like sports stuff,
Oh,
Detroit Lions stuff, and
nerd.
what do you like to do? The stats, or listening to left and right wing political guys
Ooh.
make fun of each other.
Ooh.
That's the other.
All right. So D&D 5e is a success.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. In a very bland way. Yeah. That's good.
Yes, totally.
That's good. Big fans here. Yeah.
Good times.
Try it out.
Good times.
Try it out again.
Natural 20.
Maybe watch somebody having fun playing it instead of listening to us. Well, thanks for joining us for part 1 of our campaign confession, where we look at Dungeons and Dragons. I think pretty much consensus is it's not so much the game; it's the community, or the online community that D&D can attribute its success to. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and join us again for part 2, where we talk about running a pirate campaign.
Yarr.
Arr. Yeah, that's going to come up a lot, I'm sure.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Bye.